Hey kids, good morning, good evening, or good afternoon, whatever the case may be for you. Hey, you know the routine. Hit that like, hit that share button. Subscribe if you haven't already. And get all notifications. I'd appreciate that. Okay, now we got past the YouTube stuff. CB Radio Daze. I've been kind of looking forward to this one. I'm kind of proud of those days. I was quite the personality. You see me here, should have heard me back then on Adderall. Yeah. Yeah, I was Smoke 621, Central Michigan. I talked to Kid Rock a lot, right straight out of Detroit. That's right. You ask him if he knows those numbers. Smoke 621, Central Michigan. He'll go, yeah, I remember him. I'll guarantee it. I had a Galaxy base station, a Saturn Turbo, which had a built-in linear already in it. When I got it, it didn't have it in it, but I had the guide. I had to beef it up to a turbo. Nobody else knew but him and I. And the reason for that is because of the linears that I bought afterwards. We knew a guy that lives in East Lansing. That's as close as you're getting. This guy could build linears. How much money you got? I didn't tell you how big. You could have a transformer box, or 2, or 5. The guy knew how to series it all, link it all up. He worked for the Air Force, I guess, building such things. Anyway, what I had was, I had a 2500 watt, and I needed something that would swing at least in the 100 to 150 easily. And what I mean by swing is a lot of the radios today, you grab the mic, and as soon as you key up, and I'm talking about the lollipop type, you grab it and it's got a bar on it that you squeeze. It keys it up. And what that does is it will bring you up to your highest wattage, and that's where you'll stay and you'll talk and modulate there. The guys that I worked with, you'd key up, you'd hit a certain wattage, but then you'd talk and the wattage would keep going with your modulation. It was modulation driven wattage, which gets you out a little further, a little cleaner, a little clearer, sound a lot louder. Anyway, I had this 2500 watt. It was a high drive. And what that means is that's there to drive something even higher. So it went from like a 200 watt linear inside the radio to drive a 2500 watt linear that would drive the next one I bought, a 7500 watt linear. I had to buy cable, coax, that big, 2-inch. Most of the big radios would only buy the 1-inch. I had to have the 2-inch. Hell, the solid core was the center core was that big around, which is, I think it was almost a 1/2 inch. Anyway, at that point, well, maybe before that, I discovered what CB actually means. It means constantly buying. And I was. Antennas, ground wires, you name it, I had it. Beams. I didn't have the bass I wanted. I wanted a Yazoo. Yazoo will go from 0 to, I'm not quite sure what the frequency range is, but it'll do everything, even the ones you're not supposed to be on. But as you climb, you have to change antennas because of the signal. Those in radio know what I'm talking about, the SWR factor. Anyway, My furthest contact was New Zealand. I could hear Australia, the Bushman, but I couldn't talk to him. But I could hear him. New Zealand I could talk to. I talked to them, I don't know, 8 or 10 times throughout the 10 years I was on. Kind of all that CB radio crap, though, I wanted to say, kind of reminds me of today's online crap. Except for one big exception. Most people didn't have linears. All they had was base power, base stations, or mobile radios in their house, or mobiles in their mobile. You know what I'm saying? And that left you very vulnerable. You could be located. How we do that is you ride around in your mobile, and you watch the signal get stronger, and then you undo your coax in the back end of your antenna and just leave the center point in. And what that would do is you could get even closer to exactly where they were. You could get within 100 feet of them. And it used to freak them out. But anyway, we used to do agitation, and other people would do this. They would take a walkie-talkie, get near your home, key it up, and tape it open and leave it laying. That's why we had to have locate. We had to have ways to locate people like that. Or I've even seen people go into this much trouble. They get close to your house with a mobile radio, mobile antenna, and a battery in a box, and set it all up, keyed up, so that whatever channel you normally stood by on, it would always be keyed up. It would stay that way for 5 days, and then it would dry, and then the battery would be drained. The thing about that is if you had any power, you could get over them. You couldn't hear crap, but you could get over them. There was just so much crap, so much drama going on in that. I'd been accused of everything, accused of others of everything. And now you got the internet crap, and that's like wearing an old hat. They just don't understand. You develop a skin real quick if you don't. Matter of fact, one guy, we pissed him off because we called him brand name. I don't remember even what his handle was. We called him brand name because everything he talked about, he bragged about, he had to mention the brand name of it. Like, this is a Makita, blah, 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 model number, blah, 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 that I just bought, blah. And then this is a Smith & Wesson, blah, 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 blah. Well, you know what he did with that Smith & Wesson after he pissed him off with calling him brand name? He grabbed his fucking mobile station he was using as a base, yanked it out, took it outside in the driveway, and shot holes into it with that Smith & Wesson. He pissed himself off that much. Oh, it was so funny. You had to grow a thick skin. Well, like I said earlier, it was about a 2-year period there. I was on Adderall, prescribed. I kind of backed off these headaches I was having, and I'd be awake for 20 hours and asleep for 4. And if I wasn't working, I was on the radio. It became very monotonous, kind of crazy there at the end. Many went their separate ways. There's still a few out there. Maybe one day, perhaps, I'll have a small base station. I'm not going to reach out beyond 20 miles. I'd rather not, because I'd rather not constantly be buying. Well, that's all I got for you on that. It was a great time. I was a radio station personality, only on this smoke show. I had an echo mic. I had three microphones hooked up at once. I had a black eagle, a silver eagle, and an echo master. I built the three-way plug-in for that. I had to wire all the mics right, and wire that right. It was crazy, but I could talk on all three at once or individually, or one had two different Roger beeps in it. The other one was just clean, clear, and to the point. I wanted to do four because I had a mini too. It was only about this tall. Those of you know about lollipops and the eagles, you understand. I had a black eagle, silver eagle. You look up Echo Master CV microphones, you'll see a little stem coming out. I could adjust all the echo, and it was crazy. We had good times though. I may talk about that again sometime. Anyway, till the next one, guys. Peace out.